That, of course, was J.P. Dimon or J.P. Morgan's Jamie Dimon talking about Ocasio-Cortez and her Green New Deal. And then she was firing back at him for saying that her Green New Deal would be bad for the economy. She tweeted out, J.P. Morgan agreed to pay out $13 billion over its massive role in mortgage schemes with the '08 recession. They also finance major fossil fuel pipelines. It's big money, so maybe they aren't the best authority on prioritizing economic well-being of everyday people and the planet. So does she have a point here?
Well, I mean, for AOC, you know, bankers are... Profit-seeking is immoral, and bankers are like the worst of the worst, right? Because they're really in it for the money. So she's never going to fight. In fact, she tried to hold the CEO of Wells Fargo responsible for loans it makes for fossil fuel. So it's ridiculous on its face. I mean, the fact that AOC would link somehow the banks as being responsible for the global financial crisis. I mean, for one thing, she was 18 years old when it happened. I was a lot old.
She can read history.
Well, she has the history wrong because the banks, in fact, were victims of the global financial crisis. It was caused by government intervention, exactly what AOC proposes with the Green New Deal. Just as you had the global financial crisis with financial markets, you'll have it with the environment with AOC.
Okay, I don't want to debate right now what happened in 2008 and how they just took all, just collateralized everything and, you know, tricked people into buying these risky tranches of debt. But let's talk about the fact that, one, we never debated about the actual climate. AOC came out, sorry, not her, but a group saying that J.P. Morgan has spent $196 million in financing fossil fuels ever since signing the Paris Agreement.
Thank God they are, because we have the heat running in here.
But
you know, it's fossil fuels are good.
Guys, let me just. But I want to address something that a lot of our viewers talk about, and they tweet, and we do read your tweets. They ask, why do we continuously bring up Ocasio-Cortez and the Green New Deal? And I think David Offset said it perfectly. The fact that so many Democrats and so many people have got on board that it's become an issue that we need to talk about. We need to discuss. People, it's thriving. People are discussing it. So therefore, that's the reason why we bring it up and why we either attack it or go against it or go for it. Go ahead, Gary.
Look, this is ignorance meeting arrogance all at
Amongst
once.
whom? Are you talking about me?
Imagine, and look, again, I give this woman all the credit in the world. She ran for office. She beat a lifer. She's in Washington, D.C., but to go after a man, one of the icons in business, a resume upon resumes, one of the brilliant minds of this country, and take him on when you just came out what I would call the most fantasy-landish proposal in the history of time.
It's non-binding.
That it has no feasibility whatsoever, and then you have a bunch of other politicians back it up. It is a comedy act. It should be the first 15 minutes of Saturday Night Live, yet she takes this on seriously. It is, I don't even know where else to go with this than just say enough is enough.
Gary, I think it must be wonderful to be 29 years old and think you have all the answers.
That's the arrogance.
Exactly. But it might be interesting for her to know that in New York State, just talking about pipelines and financing, the truth is new homes cannot get natural gas hookups in Westchester County because we're not building enough pipelines. This is real life. This is real people not being able to heat their homes with natural gas, which is, by the way, one of the cleaner fuels because of resistance to pipeline construction. I mean, I kind of with Gary and Jonathan on this. I think this Green New Deal is so fantasy land, and someone really needs to kind of explain to her what the problems are.
And by her, you mean Christina?
Can I just interject? This is the same woman that... Thank you.
It's because Liz just pointed out everybody on the panel except for me. But no, I'm not. This is a non-binding resolution. It's got on people are on board. A lot of big names.
But it doesn't make sense, Christina.
I agree with you. I agree that there's a lot in there that doesn't make sense, but people are
Sorry? All of it.
People
you know, there's
are
another part of this whole thing, which is that we're going into a 2020 election. This is all about politics as well.
That's right.
But voters are going to decide between an administration that has increased the production of fossil fuels, created a lot of jobs, by the way, in doing so, and it created a lot more energy, which makes us less dependent on the Saudi sheiks, et cetera, and another party that believes we should be using less fossil fuels. So where are voters going to come down on this?
Yeah, I'll just say there's this
Can I just say
this
one thing? Let me just answer Christina. The fact that a lot of politicians have come on board the Green New Deal does not validate anything about the Green New Deal. What it says is they're afraid to death of AOC and her Twitter followers because they get mugged every time they disagree with her. That is the reality. As you say, it's non-binding. Kamala Harris can sign on to this thing, and it means nothing. It does not mean that this is a realistic approach, like Jamie Dimon actually
but
mentioned.
the science means something, and that's a whole other debate. But we're not scientists to go into greenhouse gas emissions and talk about all of that.
Well, I mean, when it comes
yes, but Jamie Dimon actually had a realistic approach, which is carbon taxes. I don't like that. But let's talk about something that actually could really happen.
But you don't like taxes.
When it comes right down to it, I mean, you have one party that is antagonistic towards fossil fuels. Fossil fuels give us our modern lifestyle. They're also antagonistic against bankers inherently, which are tremendously productive parts of our society. And to Gary's point, Jamie Dimon is a hero. This guy should have statues erected to him, not be lambasted by any congresswoman, let alone AOC.
They're antagonistic towards everything.
Towards the profit motive.
This woman almost single-handedly, I know there were others involved, stopped up to 50,000 new jobs out of Amazon in Long Island City that could have changed the face of that area and have so much more growth going forward. Yet she's sitting there blasting a guy that has created so much wealth and so many jobs. How many jobs? I should have looked at the number, how many jobs J.P. Morgan has just in the city of New York. It's got to be a gargantuan number. And to hear these people just continue to rip away at greatness and success. Again, this is what the election should be about, either government and big government or just leave the people in business alone to do their bidding.